All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome into the Pillow Talk edition of Pugs and Parker. Don't know if Parker's here. I don't know. He just pops in. If he pops in, if he doesn't, he doesn't. This is the second of two streams that I do each and every day. I do the first one. It's called High Noon. That comes on at high noon Central Standard Time. And that's basically the middle of your day. We talk about all the things that are trending, topics, anything that is, headline, breaking news, all the things that people are running around talking about. We like to cover there at the noon hour. Noon till about 2, usually goes about 2 hours. We run through everything, and if anything new pops up, we'll jump on that as well. And then, excuse me, this one is called Pillow Talk. Why? Because it's just kind of a more relaxed, kind of a less structured. Sorry, I'm trying to arrange something here. Kind of a little less structured, a little bit. I'll put it to you this way. I don't really prepare that much for this one. The noon show I prepare. The noon show, there's a whole lot of prep that goes into it. That's more like a real show. This one, it's just like, all right, what do you guys want to talk about today? And also, this one is the one that's more likely to have guests on, people joining me, like Parker, who does not seem to be coming. Hold on, let me see. If he sent me, nah, he's not. There's got to be. Maybe did he text me and say he's not coming? Or does he just stroll in whenever the hell he wants to? See, here's my problem. And I don't care. Look, ain't nobody getting paid for this. We're basically keeping this thing afloat. I appreciate that he joins the show. That's great. He's welcome. I send him a link every single day. I change the name to Pugs and Parker, but I'm not complaining. I'm not saying that ought to be a little bit of a motivator for someone like him to show. No. But there are two ways to prepare for something like this. There is the I'm going to do an hour by myself way to prepare, and I'm going to do stuff that is more give and take and conversational and less structured. And today, unfortunately, I did a whole bunch of stuff that would be great if it was just, the two of us, but, whatever. All right. Hi, Byron. Welcome in. Also, this stream, this particular nightly stream, we're not getting, there's some of you guys who we love and who show up every day. It's not really growing. This one is like, if one of these is going to go away, like if I have to go out and get a real job or something, if one of these is going away, it'll have to be this one. Cause it's just not growing. It's just not the other one. The daytime one is growing. I appreciate that. That's something that, we want to dig down into. But this one is kind of just, whatever. All right, let's see. What do we want to start out with here? Let me open up. See what I mean by like I'm never prepared for the show? I'm never prepared. Not the way I am for the noon show. The noon show I'm prepared. The noon show it is whap, bap, bada, boom. We are ready to go. I am monitoring to see if we're going to go to war. That'll be fun. No, that'd be interesting. Scary, quite frankly. Let's see what we got here. All right. A couple of notes. Ooh, excuse me. All right. I'm just going to move forward then. It is now 9:06. I'm just going to move forward and do the show by myself. I don't need this. Hey, all right, let's start out with a little thing that I like to call the moment of joy, a little something we can watch together. And we've got a bunch of videos that we'll watch together since I'm going to be solo on today's show. Here, this one, this is your moment of joy. I don't even know what this is. I just put it under moment of joy. I totally forgot what in the name of God is that? Twitter? Is that it? Is that the one? Yeah, here it is. Oh, okay. All right. So here's why we're going to show this one. This is interesting. Watch this. This is interesting. Just watch it, and then we'll talk about why I think this is interesting, okay? This is a little video that's going around. Here it is, your moment of joy. Sounds like the Six Flags song. This music sucks. This kind of music sucks. What is that, a Casio? All right, let's listen to it again. I don't know what's happening with music, but just enjoy enjoy the dancing. Watch, this is cool. All right. Little kid, cute little kid. Oh, get it? He's teaching him. Oh, he's a quick learner. Oh, look at that kid go. Hey, and look at everybody behind him. They're quick too. All right, so good dancing. Good dancing, right? That's good dancing. The hell is that sign in the background? Where is this? This is like Eastern Europe. This is like Russia. This is what's going on in Russia. I'm telling you, one of the things about being a Cold War child, that's what I am. I was raised during the Cold War. One of the things that I will never be able to get over is the propaganda that my country told me about what was happening in the Soviet Union. Everything over in the Soviet Union was awful. They were nothing like us at all. Their women were all disgusting. We know that's not true. We spent an entire show scrolling through Ukrainian mail order brides the other night, and they're all smoke shows. They're all like 10s. That was a lie. No, women in the Soviet Union are all gross. They all look like housemates. They're overweight. They wear babushkas and they have nothing to. No, that's not true. You lied to us. Nixon, you lied to us. Ford, you lied to us. Whatever. That entire time period, we were lied to about what was going on over there. And now, look at this. This is what you telling me. This can't be Southern California. I mean, they're not supposed to do this. They're supposed to be working in fields. They're supposed to be planting wheat, waiting in line for toilet paper, and then being locked up for cutting in line. I don't know, they got some Siberia for all, but that wasn't true either. All the Soviet people, it's so good to be in America because the Soviets, they get thrown into Siberia for absolutely no reason. They're just like us. They dance better than us. That's the other thing. Those are all white people. Did you see that? That's in the Soviet Union, white people can dance awesome. Here, some white people can dance awesome, but if I want to watch some really good dancing, I don't know. It's more of an urban vibe. I don't know. That's just me. That's racist, Pugs. Is it racist to say that I enjoy watching black people dance more than I enjoy watching white people dance? Really? Is that racist? It's 2022. Everybody can dance. No, they can't. No, they can't. Not the way. Not the way certain ethnic groups are better at dancing than others. Oh, God, see? And I didn't even need Parker here to, like, drift into some racist stuff. And another thing. All right, here's something else I wanted to talk about right here. This was intended to be a conversation with James Parker, but I'm just going to lay it out there. I've never been to a gay wedding. And you know what? Probably neither have you. And yes, I have. You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. I'm sorry. The reason this comes up is because I was watching a TV and a commercial came on. And it was like this, I don't even know what it was for. It was for some .com like furniture store, or I don't know. It was like something where you get pots and pans out of something. I don't know. And it's like this, like oh boy, choose your words carefully, Pugs. I almost said all American, right? And I was about to describe like a nuclear family, a traditional heterosexual family with a couple of kids, and they were all getting dressed up. And they went to this. They showed up at their friend's house. They all got dressed up. They went, and it was a wedding taking place. And it was a wedding between their close friends who were not only two gay men, but they were two gay black men. And it was like this, and that's fine. Look, I have a problem with advertising. I have a problem with the way advertising portrays the world as if this is how it is. This is what everybody's used to. And it's not. And then I look at my world and I'm like, I just happen to be at a point right now in my life where I have no black friends. I have none. I have no black friends. I used to have a lot of black friends. I don't have any black friends right now. I don't have any gay friends. I don't have... But if you watch television, we're all led to believe that everybody's got a crap ton of gay friends. Everybody's got a crap ton of interracial married friends. I have a very dear friend who is in an interracial marriage, and they're wonderful, and that's not a big deal. But it's not like I have like multiples of that. I just don't. And I feel every time I see the depictions brought about by television advertising, like I'm doing something wrong with my life. Well, you are doing something wrong with your life, Pugs. You're streaming. You're living in a guest house. You're like in your 50s. My God, of course you're doing something wrong with your life. Okay, but I don't need to be reminded of it. I don't need to be hit over the head by television commercials that remind me that I've made some poor choices in my life. Maybe we'll spend a little time in the chat room since I bet I got some of you all stirred up. Jeff Glenn says, I've never been to a gay wedding because I've never been invited to one. If I ever get invited to one, I will treat it like any other wedding. If I absolutely can't get out of it, then I will go. The issue isn't the gayness. The issue isn't that I wouldn't go to a gay wedding because that's blasphemy in the eyes of God. I don't think that way. It's just that it's just not as prevalent as I think it's being made to look. Every single TV show on television has had the gay wedding episode. Look, I'm a guy. I've been to a lot of weddings. I've been around a lot of times. I've had a lot of friends. I got out of my hometown. I moved to the big city. I moved to another big city. I got a whole bunch of friends from all different walks of life and all different lifestyles. I've never been to a gay wedding. I've never been invited to a gay wedding. But Jeff Glenn is right. If I was invited to a gay wedding, if I couldn't get out of it, because I don't go to any weddings. I hate weddings. I'm done with weddings. You'd be lucky you get me to go to my own wedding. That probably ain't going to happen. Byron Granger. Shut up, Byron. How many white sheets you got? This is just about, talking. This is just talking. How many white sheets do you got? Like I'm not a racist. I mean, I know you're kidding. And I know everybody knows that. I mean, Jesus, I've been pretty public with who I am for the last 20 years, 30 years, if you count Chicago and Dallas combined. Nobody's ever called me a racist. Everybody knows. And everybody knows that I'm more liberal than I am right. Wait, that didn't sound right. I'm more liberal than I am conservative. I'm extremely socially open. I say, do whatever you want. You know what else? I also don't know any trans people. I don't know it. But man, you know what this is? This is maybe me just funneling through who I am at this stage in my life because I got no friends. I got seriously, I was thinking about this when I was putting this together. I was trying to formulate my thoughts on how I could present how inadequate I feel by the way the world is presented to me through commercial advertising. It just makes me feel like I am not living life properly. I'm going to count down my friends. Okay. I'm going to count down people who I consider to be friends now. Well, as opposed to all of you. I mean, you guys, of course. All right, I got Emil and I got Ed, right? Okay. And then I got Aaron, who I never see, but I still consider him like a very close friend. But, life is different. And then I got like one person in Chicago who I would consider a friend. And all we do is text. Now we text every day, and it's the only contact I have. But that's it. That's really it. Parker's a friend too. And actually, Parker would move up the chart as far as one of my closest friends because I've seen him more. I see him every day on here. And I got Schwartz. Schwartz is a friend. I hang out with Schwartz from time to time. I hardly ever hang out with Schwartz anymore, but I would consider him a friend. And that's it. And that is it. That is every single one of those people I just mentioned are they're all heterosexual. They're all white guys, right? They're all white European guys. And I'm not against. God knows I'm not against. One of my closest friends of life of all time, the person who I owe my entire career to, happened to have been a black guy. He was also one of my best friends. He's dead now. But so it's not like I don't have any opportunities, I guess. I got to get out more. Is it the pandemic? Is it the pandemic that has done this? Is that what's going on? Because for the last 2 years, basically I haven't gone out to bars, haven't been meeting anybody, haven't gone to shows, haven't gone to restaurants, haven't gone to clubs. I sit around and wait to hang out with my kid, which is the best part of like my month, the weekends where I get him. I got E, me and E, and this is totally heterosexual. Me and E love each other. We're like brothers. He lives 30 yards away from me across the property, right? Maybe 30 yards away from me. And I see him 3 times a week. I mean, I see him when I go into the big house for, I don't know, a plunger. I had to go in there for a plunger recently. Bill Folk says, advertising is supposed to make you feel like something is missing. Don't sweat. Well, it does. It makes me feel like I want to go to a gay wedding. No, you don't. Don't even put that out there, because now someone's going to invite you to a gay wedding and you're going to feel like you're forced to go. That's true. That's true. I don't want to go to any wedding, but I'll tell you what, if I had to go to any wedding, I want to go to a gay wedding. Okay, there you go. Should I get like 5 wedding invitations over the next couple of years? I'm going to go heterosexual, nope. Heterosexual, nope. Heterosexual, no. Gay. I'm going to go to this one so I can check that box on my life experiences. I'm sure the food will be delicious. I'm sure everything will be tasteful. Yes, this is all part of the same sort of thing that irritates me about commercials, wherein the man is always, damn, such a stupid moron. In every commercial, oh, geez, he's going into this again. I am. I'm going, it drives me nuts. TV commercials. In every TV commercial where there's a husband and a wife, the wife is a ball-breaking bitch, and the husband is some feckless moron. All right, let's move on. let's move in. Hey, goat Pugs, have you heard about? I walked into that one. Yes, goat, I have. Boy, oh boy, do I not want to talk about that subject. But I appreciate that you probably didn't know that. So there you go. Let's see here. Yes, Jeff Glenn, I do. I have a chat room, and that's why I look forward to doing these streams each and every day. This is the only contact, basically, that I have with the outside world. I go to Kroger. I go to the. It's a racetrack, right? The gas stations down here, they're called racetracks, right? That's the convenience store gas. And I ask because in Chicago, we have speedways, and in Dallas, they're racetracks, and sometimes I forget which is which. I go to racetrack, I go to Kroger, sometimes I go to Tom Thumb to buy meat. I drive 75 to pick up my kid, we come back, we play on the property, we go to Dave & Buster's. That's it, that's my entire life. No gay weddings, no black friends, I'm open to all of it. Trying to think, do I even have any like Hispanic friends? I should. Oh, yeah, I do. Now that I think about it. Oh, yeah. Well, Aaron's Cuban. Does that count? I mean, I consider him I guess. And my people in the chat room. I know a lot of you guys in the chat room. But that's what we should do the next time E goes away on one of his jet set holidays where he's like going to go skiing in the Alps. And by the Alps, I mean the Rocky Mountains. Or I'm going out for the weekend to watch one of my racehorses run. When he does that, we're having a party. And all of you people in the chat room, you're all invited. You're coming here, and I want some gay people to show up. I want some black dudes to show up. That's what I need. I need diversity in my life. I am so shut up and locked away from the rest of the world. I'm a very open and loving dude. I just need to do something with my life. Tom Beller, I'm feeling bad about Nate making that. Tom, you're different. Tom and I go back to like when we were like in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. Oh, shut up, Tom. Come on, Tom. Actually, I do feel bad now that I didn't include Tom because I would include you. I would include, okay, on my list of friends is anybody who, yeah, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about this, like Tom and I have been texting recently. But you moved to like, you moved, Tom, Tom, I'm blaming Tom. Tom, you moved like 80 miles away from where we grew up. Meanwhile, I moved to an entirely different state and I'm blaming him like it's his fault. It's like, it's your fault. You moved. You didn't stay put so that when I feel it's convenient to come back to where we're from, you weren't there anymore. All right. God, I'm thirsty. All right, we'll get through this. I promise you we'll get through this. What else did I want to talk about really quick here on today's show? So I fell into one of these clickbait things. You guys ever fall into these stupid ass clickbait things? You know, they're just... And I fell into it because I got triggered by the headline. And the headline made me go, that's bullshit. I've got to spend the next 90 minutes clicking through next. You know, I had one of those experiences. And I was like 45 minutes into next. And you wait for all the ads to load. It's like, oh, God. Next. So here's the clickbait headline that made me mad. This 103-year-old former star of Gilligan's Island is still alive. And it was a picture of the skipper. It was the picture of the skipper said it was 103 years old. He was still alive. And that's Alan Hale. And Alan Hale died 40 years ago. So I got mad and I got triggered. And I didn't want to prep for today's pillow talk because I thought Parker was going to be here. And we had conversational stuff. So I start clicking on it. And I'm clicking. And basically it's just, you know, this clickbait of just all of these old celebrities who are still alive. You wouldn't believe how old they are now. You know, it turned into one of those things. And by the way, it's got to be like a year old, this ad, because half of them are actually dead now. Half of them died. Dean Stockwell died months ago, and yet he's still in there. So, but here are some ones that I thought were pretty interesting. You know, the Dead or Alive game that you play? I wanted to play Dead or Alive with Parker, but Parker didn't show up. So instead, we'll just throw these out. And these people are all alive. You know, Gene Hackman is 91 years old. Gene Hackman. There was like a picture of Gene Hackman. I'm like, what? That's not Gene Hackman. That's not what Gene Hackman is. Someone who I have completely forgotten about. I assumed if you had said, yeah, Gene Hackman died in 2004, I'd be like, that checks out. That's probably right. I don't think I've seen him in 20 years. Gene Hackman is 91 years old and he's still alive. You want to know another one? Another one that I absolutely 100% thought was dead? Jerry Lee Lewis is 88 years old. You tell me that guy didn't die in a truck fire in the 1970s? I can't believe Jerry Lee Lewis is still alive at 88 years old. Gene Hackman, though. So if Gene Hackman is 91 now, then like when Gene Hackman was in his prime, he was like in his 50s. Like Gene Hackman didn't become like a big movie star until his 50s, because Gene Hackman is like an 80s and 90s actor, right? I mean, I know he did some stuff in the 70s and he was Lex Luthor, right? Wasn't that who he was? Wasn't he Lex Luthor in the 77 Star Wars movie or Superman movie? Yeah, he was. But he was like older then. Like I don't think I've ever seen 20-something-year-old Gene Hackman, the actor. I don't think that's a thing. I don't think he got like his movie. I think like French Connection in the early 70s was his big break where he played Popeye Doyle. I think that's where he became a movie star. And if that's the case, then he's like 56. Then he was like 40 then. He was like in his 40s when he got his big break. So, I don't know, Gene Hackman, 91 years old. Yeah, I know, Tom. That's another thing. I can't believe that Gene Hackman is older than Jerry Lee Lewis either. How weird is that? I mean, I just assumed that Jerry Lee Lewis, like if Jerry Lee Lewis was still alive, I would think he's like 100 years old. He's only 88. Which, by the way, I consider old now based on today's length of life. I don't think you're old until you're like 83, 84. I think that's when you can start to be old, at 83, 84 years old. Let's see here. Bob Barker is 97 years old and still alive. 97 years old. I thought Bob Barker was dead. I thought he died years ago. I would have put money on Bob Barker being dead. If you said, all right, let's play the game for money. Bob Barker, dead or alive? I go, oh, that dude is dead. And I'd have lost money. He's 97 years old. He's still alive. Still kind of looks like Bob Barker, too. You know, a lot of these people, like the women, I feel bad for the women. Like the women are just, you know who's totally unrecognizable? You know who was on this list? And she's only like 78, 79 years old, something like that. But I was like, what? What happened to her? Barbara Mandrell. Remember Barbara Mandrell? God, she's unrecognizable. She's and then also who's old? Oh, Anne Margaret is also. She's like 80 years old or something, and she was unrecognizable. But then there are ones that still look good, like Linda Evans still looks good. Who else? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Angela Lansbury is still alive. I'd have lost money on that one. So, I mean, I just pulled up the ones that I thought for sure were dead. Angela Lansbury is 95 years old, and she is still alive. Yeah, the Mandrell sisters. That was a show. Yeah, but Albert, Maria Osmond, here's the crazy thing. I think Maria Osmond got famous when she was 12. Because Maria Osmond is not that old. How old is Maria Osmond? Let's figure that out. Maria Osmond is gorgeous still. Hold on. Marie Osmond. How old is Maria Osmond? Let's see this. Maria Osmond is and do you remember when she like gained 5 pounds and did Weight Watchers and was like, I was so fat? No, you weren't. You were never fat, Marie. You just looked normal. You were just, oh my God, Maria Osmond is only 10 years older than me. She's fine. She's still fine. She's 62 years old. She looks great. She's beautiful. Donnie Osmond's dead, though. I think. All right, Pugs. Is Donnie Osmond dead or alive? I'm going to say that Donnie Osmond is dead. Let's see. Let's click on his name because it comes up right here. He's alive. Donnie Osmond is still alive. What the hell? I thought for sure Donnie Osmond was dead. Dude, I don't think Maria Osmond is all plastic. I don't care if she is plastic. She looks great. She's got good plastic because she doesn't. I'm looking at a picture of her, which seems to be fairly recent. Maria Osmond looks good. Yeah, Donnie Osmond is alive, dude. I thought for sure he died. Who died? Who died that I confused with Donnie? Oh, David Cassidy. Yeah. I'm going to place money on David Cassidy being dead. David Cassidy being dead. Is that it? David Cassidy being dead. He is. I almost went yes, but I figured that was bad karma. He is. He died in 2017. Okay, that's why I thought Donnie Osmond was dead. Is Donnie Osmond sick? Is there anything about him having like a sickness or something? Why do I think there's something wrong with Donnie Osmond? All right, let's look at his personal life. Osmond's 2 oldest brothers are deaf. Well, I didn't know that. And nephew is hearing impaired. He talked about the experience growing up. Okay, never mind. We don't need to. We don't need to be distracted like that. All right, so those are just a few of the people that are still alive who I swear I thought were dead. Not Gene Hackman. I didn't think Gene Hackman was dead, but I didn't think Gene Hackman was 91. Oh, look, here we go. I'm just showing up whatever the hell you want.
I'm a bad host. I get it.
The whole show that I had prepared, all the things that you and I were going to talk about, I have now talked about. Hi, James. How are you? Welcome.
I'm seriously sorry for being late.
They've got this thing now. It's called text.
Yeah, I'm a bad person. I get it. Look,
No, you're
I was
not.
out running errands, and my wife's like, "Oh, I found a bed on Facebook Marketplace. Can you go pick it up with your brother-in-law?" So I had to go get like the trailer and go pick it up. I'd take a bed apart, and I just put another one back together. And now at 9:30 at night, I'm starting to eat my dinner.
Hey, enjoy. Your brother-in-law. Is his name? Because every brother-in-law, I believe that all right. Your
It's
brother.
a very generic name. You might be guessing it right now.
Does your brother-in-law's name happen to be Glenn or Todd?
Oh man, that is so close. It's Brian.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's so close, but yeah, okay. All right, Brian is a very generic name. I just feel that everybody has a brother. I have a number of friends who have a brother-in-law. I had a brother-in-law named Todd, and it seems like there's always, and he's not necessarily a ne'er-do-well, but if you're a ne'er-do-well, chances are your name is Glenn or Todd. You know,
Well,
they're always getting into trouble.
I also have a sister and a mom with a very time-specific name. You know how like 10 years ago, all the girls were being named Addison and Madison and Kaylee and Callie and Hallie and
Ashley.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. And now they're kind of in this phase where they like to name girls what used to be last names, like Taylor and Kennedy and Blakely and crap like that.
Yeah.
So my sister has a very time-specific name. This name was only a big deal when we were kids. Not ever before it and not since, but Heather.
Yeah, it's an 80s name. Yeah.
Yeah,
Heather,
she was born in the mid-70s. She was born in 75.
It's a hippie name. Absolutely.
So throughout human history, you know, you can read through colonial times. Is there any Heathers?
No, and you know what? I don't know any little girls named Heather. I don't know any new. They are not making new Heathers. That's a wonderful.
Very time-specific name. Wasn't in the Bible, and we hadn't seen it in the last 10, 15 years for sure.
Yeah.
So it's a very time-specific name. And then my mom also has a very time-specific name. It's not biblical. It's not in history. There's no one throughout American history or European history, and no one since named Nancy.
Oh, Nancy's a dead name. Yeah. Nancy's dead. Helen is dead. My mom.
Well, now Helen has a classic name. There's people throughout antiquity. Helen of Troy, you know, going back 6,000 years. There's Helens.
Yeah, but there's no little girls being born named Helen, you know.
True.
But you are
even more time specific is both Nancy, which was only a big deal for about 20 years, and then Heather, which was only a big deal for about 20 years.
Yeah, there's not like in the Middle Ages there wasn't like a Queen Nancy, you know.
No, not one. No,
there's not a Queen Nancy. My mom has a very rare name that wasn't rare in her generation, but it has since completely died off, and that's Mary Ann. Like there are Mary Ann is not a name anymore. It's like there are no little babies being born Mary Ann. My grandma's name is like a name that was, well, although this was a biblical, my grandma's name was Bernadette. Like nobody's naming their newborn baby Bernadette, right? I mean, it's not a name.
Yeah, it's almost like so old it sounds cute again, like Gretchen. I've known a couple Gretchens and they're all adorable. But it sounds ugly. It sounds old. It sounds like someone's grandma. Gretchen.
Yeah, Gretchen does sound like an ugly name, and it's quite often not an ugly name. You know what else is like that? An ugly name that is usually applied to pretty cute girls? Bridget. Bridget is another one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I hear you.
Bridget's an Irish name. I know a lot of Irish people, so there's a lot of Bridgets out there. But, you know, the Irish, they used to name all their kids Mary, Bridget, or Colleen, and or Maggie or Margaret or something like that. But now all the Irish people, they've stepped it up. They've stepped up their game, and they've gone ancient. So now every new Irish girl that's born is named like Siobhan or Sinead or, you know, all these Gaelic names. Yeah. I know two people who have daughters named Siobhan.
What is that? Is that that's a classic Irish name?
Yeah, it's a Gaelic name. Yeah, it's
okay.
In Succession, the daughter, the redheaded daughter of the billionaire family, her name is Siobhan Roy. Yeah, so you know the Gaelic names are coming back. You and I, though, you torn
We
right
have biblical
from
names.
from the pages of the Bible, baby.
Yeah.
John and James. That's right. You don't. And then there's like my son. He's Mason. There's no Mason. That wasn't a first name.
There's no one that was crossing the Delaware with George Washington named Mason.
No, last name Mason. There's a lot of fathers, but
not. And they were all actually Masons themselves.
Yeah, no first names. Did I ever tell you about how my son's name got destroyed?
Oh, I know. It was the Kardashian.
Yeah,
did it? Yeah.
It was a unique name. It was. We did not know any kids named Mason back in 2008 when we were naming this kid.
I know. So why'd you copy the Kardashian lady?
We didn't copy the Kardashian lady.
That's what I would tell people too. I know.
Our son was born first, and then like 2 months after he was born, Kourtney Kardashian gave birth to Mason, and she named him Mason. And we used to say, well, it's going to suck for him because he's not going to be able to go to the Six Flags gift store and find a little license plate with Mason on it because that's just not a name that's going to be available. There's nobody that has it. Now, fast forward 12 years later, after the Kardashian Mason, he's got 3 other Masons in his class. It's such a non-unique, pedestrian, everyday name, and it'll probably die. They're probably 30 years from now, kids won't be named Mason anymore. It will be one of those time-stamped names.
Yeah, my dad sort of has a time-stamped name, Herbert, but there are Herberts throughout history. That just wasn't. No one did anything of note. But there hadn't been any lately.
There's not like a Herbert the Great, because that sounds like there would be.
There are some like Herberts throughout antiquity.
Just enter Herbert and see.
Well, it's also more prevalent in different cultures. Like there's a lot of Héberts in French.
Right. I was gonna say, isn't that? Oh, dude. Okay, there was Herbert the Perfect.
So did you Google this?
I just put Herbert the, and the first thing that came up was Herbert.
Well, that's not my dad. That's for sure.
Oh, I misread it.
Oh, what is it? Herbert the Prefect?
It's Herbert the Pervert from The Simpsons or Family Guy. It's a fictional character. John Herbert, nicknamed Herbert the Pervert, is a fictional character in the animated television series Family Guy.
Yeah. Herbert the Pervert. Yeah, he's the guy that's like, whoever can take the most Tylenol PM wins.
Oh, but also Justin Herbert's nickname. That's why Herbert the Perfect came up, because Justin Herbert's nickname is Herbert the Perfect. I didn't know that.
No one calls him that.
People in San Diego do. There's enough. There's enough entries. There's enough things written that it shows up in Google.
No, not San Diego.
Los Angeles. I'm sorry. My bad. Okay. So you got anything you want to jump off on, or we just we'll get rolling here? What is it? You taking call? You taking office hours now during the 9 o'clock live stream of Pugs and Parker, which was renamed in your honor?
No, I totally got a story here.
Okay.
So there's an undercover cop, and he's going undercover to bust some militant climate activists. Now, that you don't normally think of tree huggers as like burning crap down and hurting people and destroying property.
They firebomb like SUV dealerships and shit like that. Those people,
yes,
they've gotten way more radical.
So the one I know is I think it's called the Earth Liberation Front. Like they name themselves ELF. Like that's real intimidating. But yeah, they'll go burn down like partially built houses and new subdivisions because if you cut down the trees, we're gonna fight back. All that kind of thing. So
you've never played Dungeons and Dragons, have you?
I sort of, kind of, not really.
Okay, and you don't have respect for the badassery of the elf, because elves in Dungeons and Dragons are badasses. I'm just throwing that out there.
Right, but that's far outshined by the visage of Will Ferrell as the elf.
Keebler.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, they're elves. Nah, man, elves are they're short of stature, but they're big of heart.
Yeah, well, if they existed, I would worry about offending them, but I'm not.
Okay.
So this dude is this is his job. And he says, sorry, honey, I'm going to be gone for long periods of time. We go on these trips and things. You already know where this is going, don't you?
No, but that just sounds like, baby, it's my job. I'm not cheating on you. I have to have a girlfriend for my job.
That's exactly what it sounds like, right?
Yeah.
So 10 checks later, his wife leaves him. And he's like, no, dude, I was just sleeping with him because I was undercover. Yeah.
Good
That's
job,
not
baby.
fair. I told you I had to go deep undercover. I'm infiltrating these environmentalist wackos, these violent SUV firebombing nutbags. We gotta bring these people to Hill. And I had to sleep with them. I didn't want to. But I
This
did
is
this for you. He probably used that line, right?
this is like basically why I've been divorced twice. Because whenever there was like important husband, man of the house things to be done, I would be sitting there watching TV, just mindlessly watching TV. And it's like, you got to do this thing. And I'd be like, I am working. This is work for me. If I can't talk about this tomorrow on the radio show, we don't have money. So I always use that. Not true at all, but I always fell into it. Sort of like how the undercover guy
What
with
do you mean when manly stuff happened to happen? Like a toilet got stopped up, or you're supposed to smash, or what?
anything. Take the garbage out. Yeah, anything. Yeah, just can you help move those boxes from the basement? I am watching a new episode of Family Guy. I'm gonna need to pull drops on this tomorrow. I mean, it goes all the way back to my days as a tech producer. Just never time. I could make anything worthy of my job because my job was bullshit. My job was just to just talk about bullshit. So if there was anything that I was doing that I had to do, I could get out of doing it because this is more important. All right, continue. I'm sorry.
Okay, so he first got in trouble because within this climate activist group, he kind of rose up to the leadership, and he started sleeping with one of the other like people on the board of this radical group.
Mm-hmm.
And so he actually developed a relationship with her. And so they were sort of boyfriend and girlfriend, but they're climate activists and they're a little crunchy and granola. And so, maybe some extra DNA gets thrown around in times of not complete sobriety or whatever. So they were kind of loosey goosey to begin with, but the girlfriend finds out that he's actually continuing to sleep with other people outside of, just like random hookup parties and stuff. And she starts to get a little jealous. Like, are you cheating on me? She doesn't even know he has an entire wife and 3 kids. Right.
Right.
And so he actually calms her down, sleeps with like 10 more chicks, and finally gets busted. And so then after he gets busted, she's outing him. And that's how the wife finds out. Who's this girl that says, yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, so he got busted because he was cheating, not on his wife, but he was cheating on the main girlfriend under his alias, who he was pretending to be boyfriend and girlfriend with. And man, this guy just has game.
So I know what the argument to the wife would be. Look, baby, you knew when you married me that I had a different sort of occupation. I was in deep cover. It just so happens that my character was a womanizing man whore. Do you want me to be killed? Do you want me to be outed? I have to play that role. I mean, it's actually a pretty good excuse. The wife should probably stomach that.
Well, my wife, I God bless her. She would probably say, "How much did you get paid?" Right?
Yeah. What do you mean?
If you had to do this for $10 million, she'd be cool with it. If you have to do it for like $1 million, it starts to get a little squishy. If you did this for like $100,000, you're in trouble.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a big, not a big.
Look, I think every wife would have their price. If she found out you were sleeping around and you said it's part of my job, and she said how much you get paid, and you said $10 million, she'd be like, "Oh, okay, I understand. You did that for us."
I think that's totally normal. I think they should have a price. I think but
we all do.
Not even a price. I mean, I've been very public about my idea that I don't think that the person that you're betrothed to is necessarily your sexual possession. If they want to go out, and if they want to have, here's my rule. Don't embarrass me. Don't be like banging my best friend behind my back.
That's a Donald Sterling rule.
Donald Sterling.
The guy that lost the Clippers and had to sell to Paul Allen because his girlfriend kept smashing basketball players. And he's like, do you have to bring him up to the executive box? Jesus.
Well, I'm not flattered to have anything in common with him, but yeah, I do. I agree with that. Sex is just an act, man. Love is a different thing. I can be in love with you. Like I'm talking to my girlfriend or my wife. I can be in love with you. I could want to spend the rest of my life with you, but I could also just want to have sex with, some girl that I've never even talked to before because she's hot. Because you see, that's just an animalistic act. And I understand how you can feel the same way. So I don't like the whole sex is, you and I have to spend the rest of our life together, and that's it. We're not allowed to be sexually intrigued or interested in anybody. Just do it. If you want to do it with somebody, do it with somebody. Just don't embarrass me. And you know what? I'll do the same thing. I won't embarrass you. That's all.
With all the chicks you'll be slaying on the side?
I won't. I'm lazy. But you know what I mean? But I'd like to know that the opportunity was there should it arise.
No, and look, on paper, you're right.
It's stupid.
On paper, you're right, but throughout human history, through time immemorial, no matter what society, language, or culture you're in, if the wife gives the husband the reins, it's like, you know what, go ahead and do whatever you want. He's going to abuse it.
Well, you know, the historical precedent for people being monogamous with each other was because there was no birth control, and they didn't want to have a bunch of bastards popping up around the
and they didn't want to have a cuckoo's egg, too.
What do you mean?
Like you stuck around raising the neighbor's kid and you don't even know it. And all your time and resources is passing on his genetics instead of yours. And so there is a biological function to monogamy, yeah.
Exactly. But not anymore, because we have effective birth control.
No, because we have paternity tests.
Paternity tests and birth control and abortion for the time being. And, you know, look, it's not the way it used to be. If you need to get your rocks, I mean, there's all these like open couples, you know, that was being an open couple, being in an open relationship 30 years ago was like considered the height of being a weirdo. And now it's like, I know a number of people who are in open relationships. And you know what? They're the happiest married couples I know. Those are people who love one another's soul. They are dedicated to one another. They have their children. But you know what? The wife is doing her trainer, and the husband goes out to strip clubs and has sex with strippers, and they both know about it. They don't flaunt it around one another. You know what I mean? It's just a thing, and they're happy because there is no feeling of betrayal because all the cards are on the table, and that's what breaks up the marriages. It's not that how can you stay with him after he's done this to you? You know what I mean? It's like the ego gets involved where the betrayal is too much. And so you just do what you think is expected of you. And that's how the marriage falls apart. You get a divorce. When in reality, it's like, yeah, I don't care. I actually like my nights alone. I like when he goes out. I like being able to just sit around and not have to watch Thursday night football. You know,
I can't. I haven't gotten to that point yet because I'm still at the point with me and my wife that I would be jealous if she slept with someone today because she didn't sleep with me. I wanted some. How come you sleep with that dude and not me? So once there was a surplus, I could see you being okay with it being passed around, but I'm not getting enough myself. I'm trying to smash her more than she's giving it up. So, dude, if you're going to be smashing anybody, it better be me first.
Well, what if she said, you know what? I'm tired of you trying to smash on me all the time. Why don't you go get it somewhere else?
I would say, well, number one, you shouldn't have filled out the job application then. If you didn't want to work here.
So you are most comfortable within boundaries of a traditional marriage where you are both faithful to each other. Because I think it's all about hurt feelings. It's about ego. It's about possession. Yeah, if you love me and I love you, I understand that you still think the pool boy's hot. You know, I get that. That's not crazy to me. I have mirrors. I know what I look like. And you must love me for something other than because I don't look like the pool boy. And if that physical act is going to make you healthier, more mentally stable, whatever, it's going to make your life fine. Just don't make fun of me while you're, with me. You know what I mean? Just don't embarrass me. Just don't show up to the kids' PTA meeting holding hands in the parking lot with their pool boy toy. That's all. There needs to be rules, but I don't know the whole possession thing.
I it's not a possession thing because I'm actually trying to push my woman into bed with another woman, but she's not really into that. So as much as I try,
that's great.
It's like, you sure you don't want to sleep with a girl? You sure you're not interested in girls? She's like, nope, still not attracted to girls. Still don't want to put my face down there. I know they're beautiful and fine. If I get drunk, I'll kiss them just to make you happy, but I'm not sleeping with a girl. So.
Isn't that weird? Because there is a generation of girl.
It's not
weird. It's weird considering her age and her generation. Her generation was a little bit more open to that kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
like every girl that I know that is under the age of 45 has made out with another girl. You know,
Yes, that's normal now. Yeah,
it's totally normal now. In 1980, not normal at all. Not normal. It's still applauded. Men were always for it, but it was just not socially
hard to come
acceptable.
by. Yeah,
My concern about the trying to get a threesome, like let's just throw it out there, like with the babysitter. What? 18 plus college student. I'm not, got no interest in, you know what I'm saying? You hear about these things all the time.
I haven't heard anything about people with kids lately. No.
So the babysitter thing, or bringing in the girlfriend, or inviting in your wife's best friend, which is a weird one because the best friend is always like, sort of at odds with the husband anyway, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But the reason that situation bothers me is because I fully expect, based on societal norms of today, for the woman to be totally okay with that. The woman to totally be okay with being sexual with another woman for my enjoyment. I'm just afraid she's going to go, okay, my turn. It's because I'm not having sex with another guy.
Yeah, that's my concern too, right? Man.
So that one's off the table because I can't reciprocate in kind. I can't, and I know that's unfair. So there you go.
No. You can get away with that because she's not into it. For the most part, girls don't want to see two dudes do stuff.
No, I know, but I mean, I don't even want guys are like, yeah, we tag team this chick. I'm like, nope. I don't care. We didn't touch or anything. I don't care. I don't care if you didn't touch. I don't want to be in a bed being sexually aroused with another guy who's also sexually aroused. That's just weird. That's why I'm okay with going, hey, you two have fun. I'm going to be out there watching some TV. I'm going to make some microwave popcorn. I'm going to have a beer. You guys do whatever you need to do. I do not want to be involved in this.
Well, Jeff's got some great advice over here on his threesome experience. He says the third should never be a friend. It should be someone you can drop like a hot potato. Is that how you and your wife worked it out, Jeff? Is that how it goes down at your house? I always love these people that have advice and they've never done it, but maybe Jeff has.
Maybe that's what Vegas is for. That's what Vegas is. You go to Vegas.
Isn't it? Yeah, and cruise ships. I've noticed cruise ships is just
cruise ships. Yeah, all those things. International waters. There are no rules.
They're like, can you believe everyone on this cruise got the same disease? I'm like, yes.
Yes, I can. As a matter of fact.
I assume they all got the same disease. Jesus.
I was the other day. I was talking about the story of the Hong Kong cruise liner. Since you brought up the subject, are you familiar with this story?
I am not at all.
So a cruise line in Hong Kong who went through some...
Does it just go around the island? I mean, Hong Kong's this big.
No, they're just based out of Hong Kong. Companies in Hong Kong, but they the Caribbean and all that stuff. So this cruise liner was this company. They took a beating during the pandemic because, I mean, even before the pandemic,
it was a slow time for cruises. Yeah.
Cruising was down even before the pandemic. Remember all the food poisoning stories and people were getting sick and toilets were. There was just a story every week about another horrible cruise line experience that 1,000 people had. And my take on cruise is always, I will never go on a cruise. I have no interest in going on a cruise. The cruise companies are now advertising. They're trying to get their business back. So during football this weekend, there were all these commercials for cruises. And my kid said to me, he goes, I want to go on a cruise. Can we go on a cruise? We should go on a cruise. I'm like, no, no, we're not going to go on a cruise. And then I just told him all of these horror stories about things that happen on cruises. And he's like, but the water slides look fun. I go, yeah, the commercials do. The commercials make it look fun. I'll give you that. First of all, I don't want to go on a cruise with you because I will be drunk all the time because I understand.
But you've never been on a cruise?
No, don't want to. I've had opportunities.
It's all right. I've been on two. I went on one for my honeymoon, and then I went on another one for my 10-year anniversary.
Seems like a terrible hotel where you can never leave the property, where it's just you're stuck in the hotel forever.
Well, it's like a great hotel that you can never leave the property. The bars are pretty good, and the good point is there's 8 different ones, and so there's the Irish pub over here where you can have the 28 different taps, and then they play trivia, in teams. Then there's like the cool kitschy bar that's playing like techno music, and there's like Russians pouring you like really complex cocktails with like a cucumber involved or something.
Okay.
And then there's the dance club bar, and so everything has their niche. And then there's like the old geezer bar, and then there's the comedy bar where there's a stand-up comic.
So it's basically like we're right here in Highland Park. It's like McKinney Avenue. That's what you're describing. It's McKinney Avenue.
That's not too far off.
It's a floating McKinney Avenue. It's got
Remember that old Times Square where they took the theater, and each theater was a different club in it?
Yeah, that was
awesome. So if you just had one of those clubs, was a casino, that's really what the cruise ship would be.
All right. So the Hong Kong Cruise Line went into bankruptcy during the pandemic, but they were still operating cruises and they were still selling tickets and all that stuff. And a judge a couple days ago, I guess it was like on Friday, a judge said, okay, that's it. You're out of business. Seize everything they got. So they seized all their boats in port and canceled all upcoming cruises. But the problem is there was one boat still out in the water filled with people. And it was making its way to Miami. It was finishing its cruise in Miami. And the night before it was supposed to dock in Miami, they made an announcement. Now, remember, they're docking in Miami, so everybody's got hotel rooms in Miami.
They just say, open bar, dude.
No, worse, much worse. So they're heading to Miami, and everybody's got their rental cars for Miami and their hotel rooms and their air flights out of Miami, whatever. Everybody, that's where it was supposed to end. And they said, change your plans. 1,000 people on this boat who think you're going to Miami. We ain't going to Miami now because you see a federal judge is going to seize this boat if we pull into a United States port.
They ran for it?
They ran for it.
Wow.
I think they ended up going to Cuba. No, the Bahamas. It was the Bahamas. So they ended up in the Bahamas instead. And it's another cruising nightmare. And then the boat, the last I checked, the boat unloaded everybody in Bahamas. They said, hey,
I guess Nassau is the only deep water port they have.
But nobody's got hotel rooms. Nobody's got it. Everybody's just on the dock going into the boats like, see you suckers. We're going back to Hong Kong.
It's like the reverse fire festival. They all went and had a legit party, and then they ended up at the Bahamas. That's great, man.
I got no interest in cruises. All right, quickly here. I got a story here that we can talk about. Oh, no, you know what I got something I want to show you. All right. So imagine this was done today. This is a piece of video that was floating around earlier today, and I had never heard of this incident, and I can't believe that I've never heard of this incident. But it has to do with Muhammad Ali, okay? So when Muhammad Ali, if you don't know the story about Muhammad Ali, Sonny Liston was the big badass champion, and Muhammad Ali wanted to fight. Cassius Clay wanted to fight with Sonny Liston, and Sonny Liston wasn't going to fight him because he didn't deserve the fight. He hadn't paid his dues yet, and Sonny Liston was the champ, and it's like, I'm not going to waste my time with this mouthy Cassius Clay kid. So Muhammad Ali basically taunted Sonny Liston, followed him around, everywhere Sonny Liston would go, Muhammad Ali would show up. Liston, I'm gonna beat you. You know what I mean? It's like that whole thing, and he turned chaos everywhere. Sonny Liston couldn't go anywhere. So here, this is a video of how back in like 1964, Sonny Liston handled it. Now, I ask you, after you see it, what if somebody handled shit this way? Okay, now watch this video. All right, it's going to start out with Muhammad Ali loading up a bus and pulling up in front of Sonny Liston's house at like 3:00 in the morning. Okay, so and then it goes from there. Here you go. All right, can we see it? Is it sharing?
Yeah, full screen and we'll be good.
All right, full screen.
Perfect.
All right, here you go. So this is a bus that Muhammad Ali rented, and he pulled up in front of Sonny Liston's house in the middle of the night.
Clay had started a harassment campaign against Liston, trying to force a fight, even going so far as to rent a bus and drive to Sonny's house while calling him
Sonny's like, get off my front yard! Sonny's in his robe. Look at those silk pajamas, though. Sonny looks good. It's good to be the king.
He looks comfortable.
Bum through a bullhorn.
He does. He doesn't look
calling him a what and a bum? A coward and a bum? Is that what it was?
Even going so far as to rent a bus and drive it to Sonny's house while calling him a coward and a bum through a bullhorn.
Okay, so now here's the next scene. So Sonny Liston is in Atlantic City gambling, right? And it's just trying to decompress with a little bit of game. He's a pro athlete with some money, so of course he's gambling. He's at the tables, and here comes Clay. Cassius Clay shows up. This is where Sonny handles it in a very interesting way.
The whole situation finally came to a head when Clay approached Liston at the Desert Inn in Las Vegas, where the champ was shooting craps and losing. Liston was in no mood to be harangued by the mouth from the south. Drawing a gun, Sonny fired.
Do you see
Love it? Love it.
Frightening his young tormentor into the Desert Inn in Las Vegas. Where the
All
champ
right.
was shooting craps
Sonny's
and
had
losing.
enough.
Liston was in no mood.
Sonny pulls out his gun and off just starts firing it off.
Frightening his young tormentor into a hasty retreat. The gun was filled with blanks.
He had blanks in there. That's great.
But how awesome is that? Could you imagine somebody today doing that in a crowd? Even if it was, it doesn't matter. I mean, but just that's how they pulled out a gun. I loved how Muhammad Ali ran.
Dude, you know this happened to me at work, right?
No.
Some host who recently passed away and was in the adjacent studio. Remember, he used to put blanks in his gun and shoot it at people. He did that to me once.
Russ Martin?
Yes.
Shot blanks at you.
Yes.
Oh man,
and then they laughed their ass off in the studio. I almost crapped myself because they did it through the window when I was walking in the hallway.
I didn't know about this. How come I didn't know about this?
You knew about it at the time.
Oh God, man! 2005 Pugs must not have really cared.
I think it's more like 2003 Pugs.
Oh my God!
It might still be 2002. I hadn't been there very long. I mean, he didn't even really know who I was. I think if I walked in the room, he wouldn't know my name. You know, if he was alive. And I worked like side by side with the guy for a couple years. You know, in the next studio over. But anyway, so I've been there.
Dead now, so you win. There you go. That's
do
it.
I?
Yes.
Do I win?
Yes, you do. You win because you're still alive.
Okay. Well, he's a little bit more successful than me in his heyday. So
you got time.
Well, I better hurry up and get on it then.
Yeah, you better get on it. Hey, you know, well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was right before they did the bit where they had the kiddie pool in the bathroom. They filled it full of kitty litter, and I think Russ took a dump in it. A human being took a dump in it because I had to step over it to go to the bathroom. And so I think it was Bob McNeil was still there, and I'm like, dude, I had to walk over human poop in this work environment. That's okay? And he's like, dude, it's just a bit. I'm like, fine.
No, it's not a bit.
Fine.
It's a bit if it wasn't really human poop. It was real human feces. That's the offensive thing. Calling it a bit. If you were to just rape somebody in the hallway and go, it's just a bit.
It's just a bit.
It's not a bit. It's an actual raping. You're calling it a bit.
It's part of my job. I had to sleep with 10 women.
That's radio. I was a victim of that too. We did some terrible things. And it was it's just a bit. What are you getting so upset about? Because you called my mom fat and ugly. It's just a bit. No, you called my mom. See, it's like this. It's not just a bit. You can't just say it's a bit and you're indemnified from any repercussions. But.
Okay, so Sonny Liston, to have blanks in there means there was some forethought. It means he wasn't just planning on having that gun to pretend to protect himself. You know, in case he was going to get robbed, what's he going to do? Shoot some blanks to defend himself? But he had that specifically set up for Cassius Clay. He had it specifically set up. Next time that dude comes and bothers me, I'm just going to pull out a gun with blanks. I'm going to shoot it right at his head. I'm going to make this dude pee his pants and run off like the little coward. You know.
He did. He ran. Yeah. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Now, did he get in trouble for that? Because now, like nowadays, it'd be like reckless discharge of a gun or reckless endangerment or some goofy assault charge.
The Nevada State Boxing Commission has suspended Sonny Liston's license to fight for life for conduct that is, it would have been a huge thing. But back then it was the 60s.
Yeah, so then he has to fight in New Jersey. Who cares? Anything
went.
Nice. I mean, except for interracial marriage, wasn't widely celebrated as firing blanks in a crowded casino.
Or homosexual coupling. That's where they drew the line. They drew the line at homosexual coupling and interracial marriage.
The important stuff, yeah.
But you could fire a gun in a crowded.
It had blanks.
That's not.
What are we, a bunch of Mormons here? Come on.
I wanted to get into the subject with you of Shailene Woodley and Aaron Rodgers because they are trending right now. Because
is that the classic Irish name again, Shailene?
No. I think Shailene is just hillbilly. I think that's just now. Look, very, very close. The classic Irish name and the hillbilly names are the Irish are the hillbillies of Europe. So, I mean, it's very, but I think Shailene.
I thought the Polish were the hillbillies of Europe.
No, they're like Eastern Europe hillbillies. We're talking about like the normal Europe.
Western world, yeah. First world hillbillies.
First world hillbillies, the Irish. Let me see what that is. Let's look up the name Shailene. Let's see if that's where that Shailene. Yeah, it just sounds like a song. It sounds like a song that Dolly Parton would have sang, you know? Oh, Shailene, leave my man alone. You know, it just seems.
Yeah, Shailene is close.
Let's see. Shailene. Is there any.
Screw her name. What did she do? Why aren't her Aaron Rodgers trending?
Well, no, I'm interested in knowing the origin of the name Shailene now. Because to me, it seems like. Okay, so. Shailene Woodley is a ridiculous tree hugger, hippy dippy, far left, but gets arrested protesting pipelines, campaigned for, Bernie Sanders. She's just an idiot. She's an idiot. She's like an idiot on that side. And then, Aaron Rodgers, although isn't like a far right idiot, but he's kind of an idiot on the other side. And yet what are you doing? What are you doing? You having a conversation with somebody? Don't mind me. I wasn't even going to go into it, but you asked me to go into it. And so Aaron Rodgers is, not that, right? But certainly, so they gave this big interview to, what is this? Well, this story is in page 6, but it's People. People is who they sat and talked to because they're getting married, and
I thought he was gay for the longest time.
Yeah, he's gay.
Wasn't there like an ex-roommate that said they did stuff?
Yes, that is there were gay Aaron Rodgers rumors, but I think those came out of Chicago, and you can't,
Oh, they're just sandbagging him, huh?
Every Packer quarterback since Bart Starr has had gay rumors come out of Chicago media about them. It's just something we do. It's the benefit of having the much larger media. Green Bay doesn't really get a story trending nationally, but Chicago sports radio does. But they talk about their differences, and they talk about how Shailene Woodley and Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers don't let their political beliefs impact their relationships, preferring to agree to disagree. And I don't get that. I don't, because she's radical and he seems to be pretty radical. And it either means that they don't really have an ideology and they're just going through the motions and playing a role. Like, this is who I'm going to be because I guess I need to be somebody and this is the side that I'm going to be on. And they don't really have the courage of their convictions, because I can't believe that someone like Shailene Woodley would want to be with someone who's been portrayed the way Aaron Rodgers has. And I can't believe that Aaron Rodgers would want to be with somebody who has been portrayed the way the sex must be incredible, is my point. That must be all that it's about at this point.
No, because she's hot and he's rich. And so both of them are twisting it. Yeah.
So well, look, they don't truly have ideologies.
No, see, this doesn't sound weird to me, but this is sort of a one-way street here, to where, like, I've dated plenty of girls who were dedicated left. In fact, when I first started on your show, remember the girlfriend I had at the time? Complete dedicated Bernie Sanders leftist. In fact, she goes to protest, and I still, we had fun with it, though. We were on opposite political sides of the spectrum, and it wasn't anything terrible. We would debate stuff, and even these days, I don't want to
debate politics with the person I'm sleeping with. I just don't.
But it's different. First off, I don't
want to debate politics with anybody.
If you're a dedicated lefty, and I don't mean all lefties, I just mean that hardcore Bernie Sanders AOC type that's a true believer, those.
Like she is. She's been arrested numerous times for protesting.
Right. So those people think the right wingers are racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe, which is just really the most horrible people on the planet. Right wingers think left wingers are just immature and they need to grow up and they're falling for the same tricks that every human society has fallen for. You know, they want to just grant themselves goodies from the public treasury a little too much. And so one side thinks the other side's evil, and the right thinks the left is just immature and kind of subscribing to the wrong policies. Just, I don't want to say dumb, but just falling for the same old okey doke that most human societies fall for.
Well, hold on, wait a second. I think the left thinks the right is pretty dumb.
Yes. No. But also, I mean, but also they think they're evil. To be a racist, you have to be an evil person. To be a homophobe or to be a misogynist, you have to be a pretty evil person.
But if you go to a leftist rally, the Ku Klux Klan isn't going to show up and be on your side. Okay, so I mean, they do have a point. The Nazis support one side and not the other. The Klan supports one side and not the other. So they have a point. But this is not what. What you think the Nazis and the Klan are out there rooting for Bernie Sanders and AOC? All I'm saying is
they endorsed Joe Biden in the last election. Richard Spencer, the head neo-Nazi of America, supported Joe Biden in the last election.
Okay. Look, this is not where I wanted to go with this.
Well, I know. But no, look, I've been there, and it ain't that bad to date someone that's on the complete opposite side of the ideological spectrum. And in fact, we still have fun with it today. You know, I see her on Facebook, and I remember like 5 years ago, there was there was an icebreaker that was leaving Seattle, and it was going to go up to the Arctic to poke some hole in like the polar ice cap and drill oil. And she was part of some group that was protesting against it. So there's like a picture of her like and her friends like paddling out there in kayaks around this icebreaker ship so it couldn't leave port. And I was like, nice picture. Do you know what your kayak's made of? Because it's plastic and it's made from petroleum byproducts, you know? Sure. So I don't say you're a goddamn idiot. You don't even know what your own boat's made up of. I'm like, hey, you look great. Nice hairdo. Do you know what your kayak's made of? You know, it just little pokes, and she does little pokes back at me. You know, it's, you know, something about smashing my cousin or some hillbilly joke. You know, it's fun. Like there doesn't have to be hatred involved just because you don't agree on politics. Now, it definitely makes it easier that me and my wife are pretty well aligned on politics. We're not completely the same.
I think that's the way it should be. I think that I think that you should be truly committed to whatever ideological values you hold, and the person that you love should share those values. I don't think that two people like Shailene Woodley and Aaron Rodgers are going to be a match made in heaven forever.
That's a silly thing to say. If you're look at me, I'm a libertarian. That's 2% of the population. I cannot forego 98% of the chicks out there just because they don't believe the same crazy weird stuff I do. But it's my problem. I can't live by those rules.
All right. So here's what they say. So close friends of both say that Shailene Woodley and Aaron Rodgers, they're not talking about their politics, and they never really have. They disagree on a lot of things. Early on, they decided to agree to disagree about the things and not debate them. She is not someone whose mind you can change. So Aaron hasn't even tried, the source says. And again, how can I look at some, like I know the kind of stuff that Shailene Woodley is involved in more so than Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers has been demonized, and I hate Aaron Rodgers anyway because he's a Packer quarterback. So I was more than happy to jump on all the demonization that he's gone through over the last couple of months because it suited my purposes. You know, he's a Packer quarterback. He's probably gay. Remember, those rumors all start with Bear fans.
Right.
But I do know what she's like, and I can't imagine that every little thing that occurs in her day doesn't get politicized to something. Like Aaron Rodgers pulls up in a giant truck and she's going to be okay with that, but she's been arrested twice for protesting, you know, gas lines and, you know, fuel. She's against gasoline, and she wants to live in a greenhouse, and, you know, Aaron wants to have, you know, 15 Hummers in his drive. I don't know how that doesn't infect every aspect of their relation together.
Because she's not really a true believer in the sense, like a good example is Daryl Hannah. You ever seen the house Daryl Hannah lives in? She looks like a Shire from The Hobbit. Like that broad means it. She looks like a treehouse, basically.
Really? See, that's interesting because, the Hannahs are one of the most powerful and wealthy families in Chicago. They come from Chicago. She is a debutante of the highest order. Her father is an investment banker.
Man. So she's just going through like small carbon footprint fantasy camp is what she's doing.
But meanwhile, she's probably got about $1 billion in the bank that she's inherited from her family because her family are billionaires.
Oh, man. Well, I feel totally duped because it was like 10 years ago. They were showing, and Daryl Hannah not only talks the talk, but she walks the walk. She keeps her carbon footprint low, and she like doo-doos in a box of sawdust or something like that. Like I thought, I don't know. Now I feel like a dupe, and it makes more sense that she's not really living that life. I was impressed. I was like, hey, finally, an environmentalist that, because the environmentalists have all kinds of obvious hypocrisies that are just built into it, like climate change is going to flood the beaches, but they buy beach houses, and Al Gore lives in a 26,000 square foot house.
Yes. Private. That's you fly private. Yeah. Come on, stop it. Shut up. Stop morally scoreboarding me about how, dedicated you are to doing these things when you and 3 friends are flying on a jet across the country.
Well, and then they do like Leonardo DiCaprio will take a $14 million yacht across the Atlantic to go to a climate conference. It's like, God damn, dude. Like I'm not even telling you to fly coach.
Like had sails, No, but I mean, again, we're not going to.
It didn't have sails. It was one of those boats that was so big it had a boat.
Let's not do this side's steeped in hypocrisy and the other side isn't. Well, both sides are ridiculous, but we're not going to go there. Right. Bill Martin says, where'd he go? Was it Bill? I thought it was Bill. Hold on. Yeah, Bill says Aaron Rodgers is an anti-vaxxer. Now, Bill, isn't this interesting? Do you know why he's an anti-vaxxer? He is an anti-vaxxer. He got caught. Remember when he was asked if he'd been vaccinated back in summer, back in training camp, and he said, I've been immunized. And everybody believed that meant that he was vaxxed. No, he didn't. He and Shalane are both anti-vaxxers. The far left are anti-vax just like the far right are. The far left is all like, they believe that, no, my body is pure and you can't put that in. So she's like injecting tree sap, into her veins because that's natural. That's what he got popped for. Some crazy Wiccan rub that she worked up in the bathtub. She made it in the bathtub and said, this will immunize you. And he took it instead of getting vaccinated. And now we got all of this. So maybe that is, hey, maybe we're finding out the people on the far right. But I don't think he's on the far right. He's in Northern California. He's not on the far right. He's not. He's been dragged into this whole thing. And she's definitely on the far left. She is definitely on the far left, right? She's the reason for the whole vaccination nonsense. She's the one that got into his head, like, don't you get vaccinated? She was the one, according to reports, that put all that stuff in his head a year and a half ago.
And look, this is a great example of how, even though to the outside world they look like they're on opposite ends of the spectrum, they do have a lot in common, more so than you think. And me and you have more in common politically than we have disagreements.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Yeah, so there is like Jim Carrey and Jenny McCarthy were the leading voices of the anti-vax movement. What was it, like 10 years ago or whatever, when they were doing the rounds on all the interview shows? I remember, like, it was one of Larry King's episodes where they stopped down and they were lecturing him on science. I'm like, God dang, do we have Fire Marshal Bill and the whore from Singled Out lecturing Larry King? Like, I don't know. It was a whole scene, but they're completely dedicated to the left. But there are, like, the homeschooling religious right anti-vaxxers that there's a nice overlap in that Venn diagram.
Yeah, no, there definitely is. Also, there is another story that is just like this that is trending today. Let me pull it up. Here it is. So you've been following the RFK Jr. Holocaust reference Do you know about this whole story?
No,
You
not
must
really.
apologize. So RFK Jr. is an idiot. He's like a crazy person selling books about anti-vaccine to QAnon.
Well, it sounds like he believes the same as Shailene Woodley and Aaron Rodgers, maybe.
Right. Except we know that he doesn't really believe it. He's just writing these books, and now he's going on the QAnon tour and he's selling his books to these people and they're buying them up. And how do we know that he doesn't really believe it? Because, well, as was widely reported, the nation's leading anti-vaxxer author, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he and his wife held a Christmas party, and someone in the media got a hold of the invitation and put it out there, and they demanded that everyone attending be vaccinated.
Oh, damn.
Now he's married to Hollywood Cheryl Hines, who, of course, played Cheryl on Curb Your Enthusiasm. She was Larry David's wife on Curb Your Enthusiasm for all those. And he blamed her. You know, that was his cover. Well, my wife makes the rules in the house. Oh, dude, stop it. You've got all these books about how dangerous and how nobody should be vaccinated. And then it turned out that he's actually vaccinated against the coronavirus.
Well, yeah, and you're the first Kennedy without scene control over your wife.
He's like the retarded Kennedy. He's like the Kennedy that nobody talks to. But anyway, Cheryl Hines met him. And by the way, Cheryl Hines met him through Larry David. Larry David introduced Cheryl to him. She ended up marrying him. She comes from an era where marrying a Kennedy was a really big thing. So, you know, that's really all that matters to her, is that she got a Kennedy. Boy, will all the girls at the high school reunion be jealous of me because I got me a Kennedy. But it's like the most twisted and bizarre Curb Your Enthusiasm plot line, where like Larry introduces his ex-wife to somebody who stands for a lot of shit that Larry doesn't, you know, like, oh my God. So anyway, so he, over the weekend, he was at one of these QAnon anti-vax rallies, and he made all of these comparisons to Anne Frank that were being treated like Anne Frank, and the Holocaust Museum in Auschwitz, you know, put out a tweet saying this is a blah, blah, blah. Everyone demanded that he apologize. He has since apologized. He apologized. I shouldn't have done it, even though he did it before, like, you know, 10 years ago on a totally different issue. He made another Holocaust reference, and people are now pulling that up. But Cheryl Hines, who has long been a well-established Hollywood liberal, like, you know, she's always, you know, Hillary, you know, like all of that. She's like one of these people. And she is taking a fucking beating. She is getting...
For what?
For being married to this guy, for walking around pretending to be one thing. And then, you know, her husband is out there. She's getting beat down. So today, Cheryl Hines has finally spoken. Here, you want to hear what she said? Here's what Cheryl Hines said. My husband's reference to Anne Frank at a mandate rally in D.C. was reprehensible and insensitive. The atrocities that millions endured during the Holocaust should never be compared to anyone or anything. His opinions are not a reflection of my own. And there are currently 4,000 retweets. And you should read some of these comments. She is just getting her ass kicked. It's like now it's starting to affect her to the point where she can't go to Hollywood parties anymore. And if you've
poor little girl.
I happen to be with you on that. But to people of that ilk, oh, are you kidding me? Because she's not a big actress. She needs to be out places and rubbing shoulders with people who are much bigger stars than her so that she can get roles and stuff like that. You know what I mean? She needs to still be out there hustling, and she is just getting killed. Well, I'll read you one random comment. Okay, so here's one random comment to her. My wife asked me to get the Ring doorbell fixed, and I forgot, and she got mad at me, but we made up. If I had forgotten to get it fixed because I was, say, invoking the Holocaust to try and trick people into not taking vaccines, I'm pretty sure we'd be divorced. She's just taking a beating from thousands and thousands of people, and it's really a funny thread to read. There's nobody. Imagine abandoning your husband on social media. People like you give marriage a bad rap. Oh, God, she can't even do the right thing with people who sort of agree with him. So the people who follow her husband are attacking her. The fans of Curb Your Enthusiasm are attacking her. I mean, she just can't win. She's just getting... Poor Cheryl. But that is, I mean, you can Google that. Google Cheryl Hines RFK Jr. Christmas party, and you'll see the invitation. It comes out, and then it'll be right next to a book where he says, "Why vaccines are killing us." And then it's got his Christmas party invitation. All guests must be vaccinated. It's a work, man. You know it as well as I do. I mean, half the people that are out here doing this are just trying to make a buck. They're telling people what they want to know. They're telling people what they want to hear, and they're cashing checks. That's all. But I don't know. I don't know that I could be married to somebody that was completely different then.
Dude, even like as far as you can get on opposite sides of the political spectrum, at least in modern American society, you still agree on 90% of the issues. You just feel really strongly and only debate or hear the debates on the other 10% of the stuff we don't agree on. That's what I think. That's my take.
I don't know. I guess I'm just a little bit more heavily steeped in my ideology than some of us are. All right. Thank you, Parker. Appreciate it. We'll get back here tomorrow. And I don't know, maybe. I don't know. We'll see you tomorrow. We're going to, I'll see you tomorrow at noon for the high noon edition of the show. Topics, current events, all that kind of stuff. Just me flying by the seat of my pants for a couple hours in the middle of the day. Thank you to everybody for joining us. You can support the show in any way that you see fit. If you cannot monetarily tip the show, which is totally fine, please share, please spread the word, please do whatever you can, like, subscribe, do all those things that people like to encourage you to do on these such things. On the social platforms, when the show pops up on your feed, make sure that you forward it, please. It's the only way that the show grows and gets in the eyes of people. This show is dying. This 9 p.m. show, it's not dying. It's just, it's not growing. The daytime show is growing, which is good. Or at least it's more stable than I would say the 9 o'clock show is. So help save the show. Help whatever way you can. If you can do it with a couple of bucks into either the Venmo or the PayPal or the Cash App or whatever it is, that'd be wonderful. But that is not required. I mean, it's needed, but it's not required. There are other ways that you can help out. We'll see you tomorrow at noon. I'm gonna go watch Ozark. I'm gonna go watch like an episode of Ozark and then go to bed so that I can be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for tomorrow's high noon show. Okay, bye, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate it. Sleep well. I can smile a little now. Things are going good. I always had to be on guard. That is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.